Sure. Yeah. Hello, everyone. We thought it'd be a fun idea to have a bit of a chat about the episodes that we just played. Not specifically. It's funny that we're starting with this one because it was such a dramatic one. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But no, this was a general idea we've had for a while to, talk about the session that we just played, decisions we made or decisions they made, and the consequences of those decisions.
Consequences, huh?
Yeah, obviously a big one. If you haven't seen the campaign up to the end of episode 5, there is going to be immense spoilers throughout, so don't watch this until you're past episode 5. But it was we had our first character death with Ding getting absolutely savaged in one round of combat by Venom Fang. And Kiva getting abducted at the end to God knows what fate, depending on what the party do.
I hope he adopts me.
Oh, that'd be nice. That's the next campaign. It's just like a sitcom. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
But yeah, Adam, obviously, how do you feel about dying? Did you think it was fate? You can say if not. Well, how did you feel?
Dying's never fun. Definitely the stubby legs and new spells were his downfall, because like I said, he wouldn't know that dragons had blind sight or true sight or anything. He'd be like, oh, I could go invisible, I can get out of this scot-free. And it just so happened I also was the closest one to him, so it was just the perfect storm of unfortunate. And it was a brutal way to go, but I think I played it as true to him as possible, and that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah. I mean, there's no like winning or losing in D&D, right? Like, no, it's all just what happens. So, yeah, I know. I thought it was. I think like, I mean, he did high roll you when he killed you in one round, but I do think one thing that I can't wait to hear from the players is why you went to Cragmore Castle. Which is my wondering. Because you barely survived an encounter with Venom Fang. You tell him about Cragmore Castle, and he's like, okay, I'm going to move there. And then you beeline to Cragmore Castle, despite being told, if I see you again, I'm going to kill you. What was the decision-making process behind that?
I can tell you mine. Like Kiva was told that this guy that she's trying to find was a friend of her mother's, and she has a whole bunch of questions right now because suddenly there's a whole bunch of different things. She feels that putting the dragon to the castle and having him be under fire is her fault essentially. So she wanted to go and try her best to rescue him, even knowing the dangers, just because she just felt really bad, even throughout everything. So for her, she just wanted to do that. Makes sense.
In your mind, like, how did that go well? Like, I didn't want to obviously metagame anything. I thought Ding was going to use Morgana to check each and everything. Yeah, I thought so too.
Or we were planning to do that. I just kind of let it roll.
Where Venom Fang was, the opposite corner room had Gundren's body in, basically. Yeah. But you couldn't see it because a lot of it was still obfuscated.
Yeah, she has low intelligence, low wisdom, and everyone's upset with her. So she's definitely not calling the shots or giving advice or anything like that. So I just let things go.
Yeah. Ding basically said, all right, I've unfortunately had to make the decision between my party and a person who was basically a mentor to Ding growing up, because he was the one who kind of took me and saw potential in me from being poor and all that stuff. And if there was a sliver of a fraction of a chance, I wanted to at least go retrieve the body and give it a proper burial. So I was hoping to be as cautious as possible. I didn't want to fly around all day and like potentially tip off Venom Fang. So it was probably just a lot of things that lined up, especially with like the high drama of the situation of like the argument between Stone and Kiva, and like my role of trying to be a mediator and just making it so the party can keep moving forward And then
Crane's role of yelling at you to shut the fuck up.
yeah, which was wonderful. I loved it.
Anytime you need me to, Adam, I'm more than happy to shut up.
Real life D&D, you just tell me to shut up. But the amount of drama that was built there then led to a not united front approaching it, which made it even more haphazard.
Because I think you probably could have like snuck one person in and confirmed it.
All of them.
I think that was probably the way to get. It still would have been pretty hard. Like, but you've got like Melena's amazing at stealth. Like,
the only scary thing with doing something like that, though, is that you in the back of your mind is that if their stealth checks fail and they get spotted, they are 100% dead.
Oh,
There's no way to teleport them out, at least at our lower levels and stuff like
absolutely.
that.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely, it sucks, but I think the drama and episode leading up to it was real good. Like that role playing by everybody there was like, mwah. It's just too bad now I'm in like 8 pieces.
Hey. Connor, I do have a question actually, now that I'm curious. Was there a chance for the poison dragon to fly away? Like if we waited like long
so
enough?
This is pretty funny.
Curious.
I told Adam after he died when he messaged me, but so the funny thing is, because it was Ding, and this is completely not deliberate, like Ding got because he was at the back of the group. Like everyone ran away. Ding was like 20 feet into the forest. Because it was Ding who went down and Venom Fang told Ding to take something from his hoard, he was actually going to stop and try to break into Ding's backpack to retrieve his treasure, because that's more valuable to him than just like killing you guys for sport, basically. Mm-hmm. Because he knew what Ding had taken and he doesn't even know what it is, but he wanted it back. And so because he took one of Venom Fang's treasures, he was actually going to stop and just basically try to loot Ding, which would have bought you like an extra couple of rounds to run away. So like the funniest thing is, if you guys had just kept running, you'd have been fine. Like except Ding, he's fucked. But you know.
Well, Kiva, and the whole point, Kiva's not gonna. Ding was the only one nice to her. She would have come back regardless. As soon as he went down, I think Kiva and Ding were kind of screwed from the very beginning, but. For just this part, I wanted everyone else to run away and leave.
Well, I guess it kind of raises an interesting question though: is would the party want to go back and save Kiva now?
No, I figured everyone.
I mean, obviously, I as a player want to save another player's character, but Stone, obviously, I can't really speak for Joel, but he's obviously pretty furious. And I would say Ungor is not happy as well about the situation.
I mean, Kiva did very nearly get you guys just one hit killed.
Yeah. So it kind of raised a little bit of an awkward question of, would we go back a third time to Venom Thing to try and rescue Kiva? I don't know.
Stone might though, because he was the one that.
Like, you might have some of that clerical guilt,
yeah, because he was the one that alerted the dragon for the castle keep by being failing
his turn.
So it's his turn to feel bad.
That's going to be an interesting dynamic of survivor's guilt to the extreme, because Kiva was the one that basically got everybody killed the first time almost, and now his catastrophic failure was the reason for someone dying and potentially her. So that'll be interesting to see from the survivor side and how you guys deal with it. I'm sure Milena is going to be his therapist for the next 18 episodes.
18.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the further Orlo reveals? Like,
I love Orlo. I love the aesthetic that you describe of him being. So at first I thought he was like some sort of some sort of space clerk. I guess it's like when you described him first as sort of sitting at a desk, he's misty and surrounded by stars, and he's writing forms. I thought it was sort of like some galactic bureaucracy that he was
kind of like the TVA from Loki. Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah. But I really like this idea of like finding his memories or parts of him, whatever it actually is, and also, I mean, it is to be the first thing I sort of thought as well. the betrayer, and like I can't remember what exactly was the full description. The betrayer, and
it was here is imprisoned a shard of the betrayer. May he never rise again.
Yeah, may he never rise again. Sounds like a bit of a warning to, yeah, we don't want this guy coming back.
Yeah, I wanted to write something that was perfectly like legitimately no idea if he's a good guy or a bad guy. Like he could be either, and even he doesn't know. And I thought that was like a fun thing to include. Like, and maybe if he was a bad guy, like, would he be a bad guy again? Like, if he regained his memories. So, yeah, it's yeah, I'm pretty happy with Orlo. So for anyone watching, because I've seen a couple of comments like, where did you get Orlo from? I can't see him in any book or anything. That's my invention, and it's kind of because we're doing Phandelver, and then we're going to go on and play another campaign, and Orlo is going to feature in both of those as like a meta storytelling element. So. Yeah, more so in the second campaign. Like really, this was more just like a teaser for the second campaign.
And that's a great tool in my eyes if you want to merge and blend books and stories. Like you take the shorter ones and you can kind of patch them together. So it's a really cool.
Yeah, I've always done that. Yawning Portal I wrote into a setting as well, but it's just a lot of fun. And yeah, Orlo's like a very cool element. And the thing is, because a lot of his story takes place in this literally like abstracted realm, like it doesn't interfere much with like other stories that we're doing. Like you can just find literally like a little piece of Orlo, and then it can like unlock a lot more story elsewhere. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
Very cool. It's almost like you're in game design.
I know, right? With that. Craig, what did you think about your encounter with something?
The eye.
Yeah, I mean, like I obviously don't know if that is Orlo or something like that, but I love as Craig like existential galactic terrors and things like that. Like I find them so compelling and scary, just in my lizard brain, I guess. So I love hearing about like black holes and dark stars and stuff like that. Because there is just such an unknowable element to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's spoiler. I think it's just fun to say for people listening. Like that sequence was getting to meet one of the main antagonists from the campaign we'll be doing afterwards. Is like that being that Ungor encountered.
So, now he's got his eyes firmly set on me.
Yeah,
nice.
You've attracted the attention of Yogg-Saron. Have fun.
The fact that Melina failed that perception check, the group perception check.
Ungor is fine, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh no.
He's fine.
He's good.
This is intentional, right?
Yeah, that was quite funny. I was like, she'll be fine, she'll get it. Oh
no,
she didn't. Okay.
No.
Oh boy.
I enjoyed this was one of my, as I was saying during the break, is that this was one of my first fights essentially as a player versus for another player. Obviously we're all friends in real life. It's not actually me attacking Joel at all.
Otherwise I would not have very many friends. If my actions in D&D carried over to the real world, I would be a serial killer.
Oh no.
It was strictly for our characters, but it was really fun to have like an actual fight scene kind of thing for some tension. I've never had to do that before. And I really enjoyed it. I have learned barbarians take half damage on piercing and slashing and all the other things. Yeah. A little bit.
It's good to remember for the future.
Some point.
Today I learned, so...
Yeah, you gotta learn at some point. Well, I guess like obviously one of the biggest, if not the biggest question that we can talk about is Adam, what are you gonna play next? Do you have any ideas?
Jeez.
On the spot immediately, lock in answer.
I have a couple characters that I keep in the chamber, but it's all lore dependent.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It really depends because they have like backstory hooks. So it's really in character creation, I like to keep it relatively vague so that the DM can hook onto it, and then if we need to build it out together,
well,
especially
that's the thing. Like a lot of people make that mistake, right? Like it sounds weird to say, but your backstory in D&D is like almost irrelevant. Like you can have like a few interesting things from there that will play in, but you literally need like a few interesting things. These people who hand me like multiple pages of A4, it's like, what is this? Like, didn't ask, you know? But it's like, you don't need that much, because what's most important is the story that you're telling, and like the story and the character that you're going to make through the actions you take in that story.
It's true.
Because a lot of people turn up with like all of this backstory and then there's nothing to their character. And it's like, this is meaningless.
Well,
like,
key points is kind of really important for when you're designing a character.
Yeah, I'd rather somebody handed me like 10 amazing bullet point backstory than like 2 pages of A4. Because it's just, unless you're playing in some like grand opera level campaign, like it's
the more homebrewy it is, the more room you have for that kind of backstory, because it can be even more tailored. But we're running off a book, or it's module. Like these villains and these trials that we're going through aren't going to be super heavily tied to a character unless it's a forced boss fight like Kiva. Where
I should probably talk about that, saying, you know, it was a requirement as a thing to be.
A bit harsh.
It was a requirement. It was a consequence to be super angry and have an unsatiable urge to kill them.
Yeah.
So
part of Kiva's character is an innate hatred that she doesn't control for chromatic dragons. So that definitely posed an issue in this specific scenario. Which is very unfortunate. You know what, Adam? I think you should become the guy at the bar, the really great NPC. Just become that. Oh, the really drunk, the village idiot.
That could just be your character. There you go.
Okay, maybe I'll be like
beat the campaign by becoming the Black Spider.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I secretly joined the party, but I'm the Black Spider all along. I dig it.
The twist.
But if I wanted to be the village guy, I could just go away the drunken monk. And
on my campaign, you can't.
No monks.
No monk. This
monks.
man's vendetta against monks, and they're
we have
overly
been
strong.
Many times. We've been burned too many times.
We've been burned far too many times.
The action economy is very strong, so I could see why there's a tendency to lean away.
Strong is one word for very badly designed. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Though it's been a pleasure. Yeah, we'll probably do these after most of the sessions. Just a little chat about what's been going on. It gives some insight into some of our incredibly strong decision making. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.